Wonder Hussy here, and today I'm in a very remote kind of no man's land on the border of California and Nevada, just off the 395, the Eastern Sierra. It's called the White Mountains, and this is the ancient Bristlecone pine forest. It's home to these ginormous ancient trees, some of which live to be up to 4,000 years old. They're the oldest living clonal organisms on Earth. I'm not sure what clonal means. I think it's something to do with like things that grow in colonies. I'm not sure. I know that there are some colonies of creosote bushes that are like 40,000 years old, but I think that's just kind of like they have a shared root system or something. These trees, each single one of these trees is thousands of years old. These are even older than the giant sequoia redwoods. Those get pretty old, up to, maybe 1,800 years. I think actually there's some redwoods that get up to like 2,700 years old. But these trees are older. I mean, there is a tree somewhere in this grove called Methuselah that the scientists determined to be like 4,900 years old, almost 5,000 years old. I said that was the oldest known living thing on Earth, non-clonal thing on Earth. And they named it Methuselah after that guy in the Bible who was super old. But they don't mark which tree it is out here because they don't want people to come in and vandalize it. So it's anyone's guess as to which is the oldest. But meanwhile, they found another tree in this same area that's even older than Methuselah. There's a tree in this general vicinity somewhere that is 5,066 years old. I think that's the exact age. 5,066 years old. That tree germinated sometime around 3,000 BC. How about that? You know what was going on in 3,000 BC? Ancient Egypt. Crazy. These things are so old and so gnarled. Now you're probably wondering, how do they know these trees are 5,000 years old? Well, I think they stick like a boring device into the tree trunk and pull out a plug, and then they either do some kind of carbon dating on it, or they just count the rings the old-fashioned way. I'm not really sure how they determine the age, but I'm sure there's some information in this brochure here. Wow. This is incredible. I mean, my previous experience with bristlecone pines, we have a grove of bristlecones in the Spring Mountains just outside Vegas. Only about a 45-minute drive to the trailhead and then a 2-mile hike up to this grove of ancient trees. But the oldest tree in that grove is the rain tree. And it's an amazing tree. It's huge. But it's only 3,000 years old. Only 3,000 years old. That ain't nothing compared to Methuselah and this new unnamed old tree. I guess they haven't given it a name yet. Huh. I could give them some suggestions. What else is old? Joan Rivers was old. I don't know. Angelina Jolie, she's pretty haggard. Maybe they could name it after her. Anyways, there's this loop trail you can take up here. It's a 4-mile loop, and it skirts around the edge of the Methuselah Grove, which is the specific area up here where this Methuselah tree is. So I'm just gonna cruise. It's already kind of getting towards sunset, so I don't have a whole lot of time. That's why I'm hiking so fast and I'm out of breath. Oh, also the fact that I'm at 10,000 feet elevation might have something to do with it. But I'm gonna see if I can make this whole trail and, well, possibly identify some candidates that might be the legendary Methuselah. All right, I finally made it. This is a 4-mile loop, and halfway through at the second mile, you arrive at the Methuselah Grove, and this is the exact area where this Methuselah tree is growing somewhere. One of these trees is Methuselah. I mean, it could be any of them. Look at this one. I mean, I don't know if you can see how this tree is so twisted and warped. I mean, you'd be pretty warped too if you lived 4,000 years. I mean, think of all the storms and the winds, ice, rain, all the stuff this tree has been through. It's crazy. I mean, it's beautiful, these stripes. That's why I've done some art nude photos up in the Bristlecone Grove up by Vegas. I have another video about that if you're interested. And that's a cool grove. And there's some really neat trees like this that you can pose with, and it really complements a nude female figure. But those trees aren't as old as these. And speaking of that, I was reading in this little guidebook, which is actually super informative and cool, the little trail map, that the guy who discovered the oldest tree here, it tells how he found it. He was boring it. They call it increment boring. So this guy, Edmund Schulman, was searching for climate records in 1957. Dr. Edmund Schulman. He increment bored one of these trees in this grove, and upon counting the rings under the microscope back at camp, so I guess that's how they do it, they count the rings, he nearly shouted at his colleague, "We've got a 4,000 plus tree!" And it was dated to be over 4,600 years old, so that's how old Methuselah is. Now that's old, but like I said, I read online on Wikipedia that an even older tree has been found in this same area. So, who knows? One of these trees here is 5,066 years old. I think that's the age. You can look it up on Wikipedia. I mean, it could be any of them. Could be that one we just looked at. It could be this guy. You don't know, because it's not necessarily anything to do with the size of the tree. Unlike redwoods. Sometimes the more gnarled, twisted, wizened ones are the oldest, right? So it could be, you know, any of these really. I mean, not any of them. Obviously, it's not that little bush there. But who knows, man? Who knows? I'm so curious. I'd really like to know which one is Methuselah. But the only way to do that would be to go to every single tree in this forest and look for a borehole, which I doubt you'd even be able to find on most of them. And it would take forever, so I guess it's just going to have to remain a mystery, which is kind of cool. You know, it's nice to have some mysteries left in the world. In this age of the internet where every answer is at our fingertips, it's kind of neat that there are some things that I just may never know. That being said, if you are an arborist or whatever they call the people who study these trees, and you happen to know which one is Methuselah, feel free to email me at wonderhussy@gmail.com and let me know. Like, I'll come up here and meet you, and you can show me where it is, and I swear to God, or I swear to a dog or whatever, I will not reveal to anyone which tree it is. And I cross my heart. I would never do that. So until that happens, if and when, I'm just gonna live in ignorance. Wow, look at this one. Holy cow. Look at that thing. Holy cannoli. You could do some beautiful black and white art nudes on these. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of footprints on this trail, which, by the way, is a very easy trail, and I'm doing it in my flip-flops, as always. It's just that the location itself is so freaking remote. I think it's like an hour outside Bishop is the closest town. Or not Bishop, Big Pine. It's an hour outside Big Pine. But it's way the heck up in the mountains in this no man's land. Like I said, between California and Nevada, like really not much out here. And there was a few cars in the parking lot when I got to the visitor center, but I haven't seen a single soul. Saw one lady in the parking area. So I suppose this trail might be deserted enough at certain times of year where you could shoot art nudes out here, but you'd have to be fairly fit. I mean, the trail itself isn't hard, but like I said, it is 10,000 feet elevation. So, you know, you gotta be pretty fit to get up here, especially if you're carrying some heavy camera gear. But it'd be cool if you, like, especially if you did like large format, Ansel Adams style, and you had a naked lady, the soft, supple, nubile flesh of a fertile young woman juxtaposed against this gnarled, world-old tree that's 5,000 years old. How cool would that be? Now, I don't know if people would be offended by nudes on Methuselah, because personally I think that'd be really cool. If I knew which one it was, I would love to take a naked picture with Methuselah. Who wouldn't? But I'm not sure how, this is a national forest land, so I'm not sure how they would feel about, well, certainly commercial photography you'd have to get a permit for, and nudes I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping and start hustling because you can see that it's getting kind of towards sunset here, and I still have about 1.5 miles to go. I should have started earlier, but I was in Yosemite this morning, and you know how hard it is to leave that place. It's a wonder I made it here at all. Okay, I know it's kind of dark, and you might not be able to see me, but I finally finished the 4-mile loop. Very easy trail. I ran as much of it as I could in my flip-flops in the gathering gloom, and I made it back just in time before it got dark. But it's so amazingly beautiful up here right now. You probably can't see. I don't know how good this camera is, but oh my god, I wish I was camping up here. This would be an amazing place to camp out, and then get up real early and see the sunrise on these trees. Hooey! Definitely coming back here sometime to do that. But until then, this is Wonder Hussy at the magnificent ancient Bristlecone Grove, signing off.